Patreon.com/the Walk-Off Podcast. $4 a month gets you in there.
To agree on a ball and agree on a substance they can use on the ball. It should take a week to solve this problem. It should take a week. It hasn't been solved. It just keeps lingering from year to year, and it's just absolute nonsense.
All right. Speaking of lingering from year to year, Nate Pearson.
Nice segue, man.
Thank you. I spent the last 58 seconds thinking how I was going to squeeze that in. All right, Nate Pearson, Big Nate. The legend continues to grow. Bullpen arm, looks like, this year. Hit 101 today. Good for Nate. Also walked 3 batters. Sorry, walked 2, gave up 2 hits, struck out 3. Optimism for Nate Pearson. Fool's gold. What's the temperature check on Nate Pearson? Garth, let's start with you.
He looked good today. Bit wild, but first game of the spring training. I'm not worried about that. I was worried. Is his velo there? Yes. Is his breaking pitch breaking? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He ended up giving up a run, but that was kind of a shitty play by Zach Britton in the outfield. It was a single turned into a double, stuff like that could throw a pitcher off. You know what I mean? So a little bit of wildness. I wasn't really concerned about that. I was more looking at does he have this stuff that we saw, 3 years ago? And he looked good today. He's got some gas.
If he's hitting 101 and he's just getting sent out there for 3 batters and he's hitting 102, 101 consistently, and
pitch, he threw a slider today that was 82. You see 101 and then your next pitch is 82.
Yeah, that's a change up with movement.
Man, that is gonna mess up some timing. I think he looked great today.
Okay, optimism from Garth. Jen, how are you feeling about Big Nate?
I mean, every year the fan base does it to itself over Nate Pearson. Everyone's excited.
Don't worry, Jen. We're gonna get a chance to talk Kevin Biggio in a second.
Oh, don't get me fucking started on Kevin Biggio.
No, I hope Nate Pearson has a successful season, because why wouldn't I, right?
Of course.
But everyone's excited because he can hit, triple digits with his velo, and as Garth said, can then drop in a slider at 82. His stuff is incredible, but he has not been reliable in any way, shape, or form. And I really don't think you can necessarily count him in. If he can contribute out of the bullpen, I think that's the best we can hope for this season, right? And that's a valuable role. That, I'm not knocking that at all, but you look at last year and him having mono, and he essentially had the entire season he was unable to play. I don't know what he's going to have to do to build up to be able to give a couple of innings this season, or where that's even going to go, or if in that process he ends up injuring himself again. I hope he doesn't. I'd be happy if he can contribute in any meaningful way.
Health is going to be big. The fact he's healthy and feeling good is a great sign. But I mean, we've seen this the last 3 seasons in a row. So I think if he can stay on the mound, that is massive. The fact that he is in game 2 of spring training, hitting triple digits and dropping in his breaking ball like he is a great sign. It's one of those wait and see things. Although I was really it was cool to watch in the last couple of games here. Even Hagen Danner came out afterwards there. He was hitting 98, 99. His breaking ball looked really good there as well. So, I mean, the fact that we finally got some guys within the system that are strikeout guys, all of these guys, both Hagen and Pearson struck out 3 today, I think, in, limited work. So
Fernandez looked great today.
Fernandez looked good too, and he had some Ks. Absolutely.
Joel, how are you feeling about Nate?
Do we know where he spent his offseason? Because we talked to Anthony Telford last year, and he said Nate went away from him and started to pursue. Nate has always envisioned himself throwing the ball 110 miles an hour.
And
When he
110
could-
times.
Where
No,
Yeah.
he envisioned himself as a starting pitcher with 100 pitches.
yes, that's true, right? And the fact was he always had the stuff at the very beginning. He didn't need to strive for 105 or 107 or anything like that.
Mhm.
And he took an approach that 101 wasn't good enough, and that he had to change his mechanics that were. Anthony Telford said he had the ability to hit the glove with 101 very naturally, and then he went out and did something else, and all of a sudden the mechanics were different. He is struggling to hit 98, and it didn't feel like Nate Pearson. Now if Nate's back with Anthony Telford in the offseason and he's just got him doing what he's always been doing and just saying, your natural mechanics were great enough to hit 101, why are you striving to hit 105? Then maybe, hopefully, there's some sort of breakthrough there, and he can find some health in that, because being able to throw 101 naturally and consistently, and then endeavoring to do something else and change your mechanics makes no sense. So that to me could have been hopefully just a big hiccup, which led to some more injury issues. And now he's back to where he needs to be. And like this is the most optimistic approach I can have to this. Okay. I'm not putting any weight on this season on him performing, but if he's healthy and he's just trying to be who he always was instead of something that he doesn't need to be, then maybe he can get back on track to being a star in this league.
That's actually a great point, Joel, about just if his focus is on baseball this year, because he did fall in love with analytics and even started that company on the side, biomechanics or whatever it was there. And, like he just had his tires pumped his whole career, right? And like his pitching coach in college is telling the world that they think he can hit 108, 109, it gets in a guy's head. MLB.com has him on and is asking him about the Hall of Fame, like you get in a young kid's head. So hopefully he's focused on baseball and stays healthy. And we as Jays fans cross our fingers it works out.
Absolutely.
Johnny, how you feeling?
I think it's just at this point we're like playing with house money. I mean, when he came up the first time as a reliever, the Jays kind of needed him, right? I mean, that bullpen, and I think it was the Marcus Semien year. I mean, he was decent out of the bullpen, but the Jays kind of needed a guy like that. Now the Jays bullpen, in my opinion, is the best it's been since maybe 2016, 2015.
Yeah, agreed.
Like now it's like we're playing with house money. Obviously it's good to have, you watch these teams like the Astros that just have guys throwing 101 like it's nothing. It's good to have that in the back end of the bullpen, but now it's like the Jays don't even really need Nate Pearson. Like Nate Pearson needs the Jays. Like he obviously wants to be up and stuff like that. But if he's not here, I'm not going to bat an eye. Like I'm not going to really care. The bullpen, in my opinion, is the best it's been. So at the end of the day, it's like whatever he does. I mean, if he's successful, it's great for the Jays. If he's not, you just send him to AAA and you don't lose anything out of that bullpen. It's not like he's an Anthony Bass type of guy where it's high leverage or anything like that. He's a low end guy that could potentially be a piece in the bullpen. That isn't a guaranteed spot in the bullpen.
Great point. I'm going to lean towards Garth and say that I'm very encouraged by 101 and the movement on his breaking ball. Years ago, the upside on Nate Pearson was best case scenario, he's an ace, right? Last year before, it was like ace is almost out of the question. Right now, it's like, is this guy even going to be a starting pitcher? I'm to the point where talk me back if I'm getting too generous. Of course, this is still best case scenario, but could he be? He's going to be 27 this year, right? Coming into his prime. If he can be a healthy guy, he's got the stuff to be a elite closer. If he can put it all together, right? Am I being too generous with that?
The walks is insane. Like, you can't have a closer like a late inning guy. I mean, those walks today, I mean, some of those pitches weren't even like in the same stratosphere of a strike. Like I know the umpire wasn't that great today, but when he misses, he gets his money worth with a miss. And that's the thing. I mean, that's what makes, I don't know why, but like the Toronto fan base really underestimates or underrates Jordan Romano. he is a really good closer, and I don't think he's really talked about that much, but I can never see him being in like the Jordan Romano range where it's like this guy comes out of the bullpen and you're going to get a competitive guy that's not going to just be walking the house or walking 3 hitters an inning. And that's what separates a guy like Nate Pearson, who has way better potential than Jordan Romano. And I don't think Nate's unfortunately, I don't think he's ever going to be like that late inning guy for the Blue Jays, man, just based off of the unknown of being able to throw strikes.
I guess I'm just hopeful that this is the control issues that we saw today. And I know he has struggled with control in the past, so maybe I shouldn't give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm hoping that this is just related to the new approach of like, look, you're going to face the order once, you're going to face 9 guys tops. So just give it everything you got, right? You're not going to pitch 100 pitches today. You're going to pitch 20 to 30. Just give us 100% effort on all 30. And I'm hoping that that's where some of these the pitches that he's missing by a mile can get dialed in as he adjusts to life as a reliever. But again, I might be just too positive there. So anything else to add on Nate Pearson before we move on to some of the other pitchers? I do want to talk Yusei Kikuchi here for a second, because why not?
I just feel like he's looking for the last spot in the bullpen, right? Like you don't even really care 100% if he doesn't make the opening day roster, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has to climb up the bullpen to become a closer. He's not coming in and vying for a setup role or a closer role off the bat. He has to prove to me probably for a year that he can rise up to be at that level,
But the problem with it is, and obviously we all know this with Major League Baseball, is when you're a bridge guy like he is, where you're on the brink of being a AAA guy and an MLB guy, every single appearance matters. Mm-hmm. Can he handle that where it's like, if I have 2 bad appearances, they're sending my ass back down to AAA. Like if I have 2 blow-ups, they're sending my ass down to AAA. Can he handle that? Because like you guys all talked about, he's been that guy that's been called the best pitching prospect coming out of the minors, all that type of stuff. He's been coddled his entire career. Can he handle being a brink guy where he knows in the back of his mind, if he has a blow up inning, he's not going to be up here anymore? Can he handle going back down from AAA, having to take dog shit flights, red eyes over the night just to pitch with the Jays for one day and go back down to AAA? I don't know. And we all saw, TJ Zoic, for example, that guy was, that was a guy that Jays fans talked about being great for a long time. And he was a first rounder, all this type of stuff, all this hype. He couldn't handle being a bridge guy. He couldn't handle going back and forth and all that type of stuff. He got released. So you see this all the time in baseball. And I don't know if he has the mental toughness to be able to do that.
That's a great point. You do see it all the time. Scott and I talk with Mark Repchinsky. Scott, I don't know if you remember this interview we did. This is a guy who the 3 batter rule kind of like ruined his career, because lefty specialist who wasn't really a lefty specialist until that rule came in. Like when we talked with him, he said, I used to be able to pitch to right-handed hitters. Like the occasion that I'd see them, if you look back at my career splits, they aren't that bad. But then all of a sudden, because I was seeing them so rarely, he's like that. Once I did see them, there was this added pressure. Like if I let this righty get a hit on me, it might be 2 months before I get a chance to face a righty again, right? Like my numbers are going to be inflated for a long time. And that is that added pressure that you talk about there, Johnny. So we'll see if Nate Pearson has it. I'm optimistic.